China holds a secret from the deep that seems frozen in time. Hidden in the cold waters of China's mountains lives a fascinating creature so ancient it has hardly changed over millions of years, the Chinese giant salamander. This animal impresses not only due to its size, it's the largest salamander species on the planet, but also because of its unique role in Chinese culture. For centuries, it has been valued in traditional medicine and sophisticated cuisine. With growing demand for this rare species, an unusual industry emerged. Specialized farms dedicated to breeding giant salamanders. But raising this prehistoric creature isn't as simple as keeping fish or chickens. It demands precise techniques, deep expertise, and a lot of patience. Farmers must replicate the exact natural environment the salamander thrives in, from the ideal water temperature to quality and proper diet. A single mistake can ruin years of work. But how do these farms manage to keep such demanding and complex animals alive? And why, despite the success of modern methods, does this species remain threatened in the wild? That's exactly what you're about to find out. These amphibians are way more interesting than they seem at first glance. Raising a Chinese giant salamander isn't easy, but that's exactly what makes the experience so special and full of surprising discoveries. Few people realize it, but this salamander can live up to 100 years. Yep, an entire century. Plus, it's pretty impressive in size, easily growing over 5 feet long. No wonder it gets so much attention. Chinese giant salamanders hold fascinating secrets, capable of surprising even the most experienced nature lovers. Despite their calm and quiet appearance, these animals have a surprising way of communicating. They make sounds similar to barking, whining, and crying. In China, this unusual skill earned them the nickname babyfish. But there's more behind this intriguing animal. Giant salamanders have almost no eyesight. To make up for this limitation, they've developed impressive senses of touch and smell, essential for finding food and navigating their dark, wet habitats. Another amazing fact is the unique behavior of males during breeding. They build special shelters where females carefully lay their eggs. The male's responsibility doesn't end there. For 5 to 6 months, he tirelessly guards these eggs, even eating infected ones to protect the rest. This combination of unusual vocal communication, impressive sensory adaptations, and extreme paternal care makes the Chinese giant salamander one of the most intriguing animals on the planet. Have you ever heard of a creature this unique before? Salamanders are fascinating creatures, but they're also incredibly picky about their environment. These small animals depend directly on the water quality around them to thrive and stay healthy. In their natural habitat, salamanders are found in underground caves and freshwater streams. Cool, clean environments with a constant temperature. For anyone who decides to raise salamanders, the biggest challenge is accurately replicating these conditions. Specialized farms must maintain continuous water circulation, proper oxygenation, and precise temperature control. It's no exaggeration to say that water quality is the most critical factor in caring for these delicate animals. When something goes wrong, the first signs appear quickly. Salamanders get stressed, stop eating, and their health becomes compromised. That's why farmers spend so much time monitoring and adjusting the aquatic environment, ensuring perfect conditions for salamanders to grow strong and healthy. Salamanders are fascinating creatures, but not many people realize the incredible care needed to ensure they develop in a healthy way. Today, you'll learn a bit more about the meticulous process behind raising these little animals, especially during one of their most delicate stages, reproduction. It all starts with tanks designed specifically for them. These tanks aren't your everyday kind. They have smooth, slightly sloped bottoms to keep salamanders safe and prevent any risk of injury. Plus, salamanders aren't mixed randomly. Each tank is carefully separated by age group and size, providing ideal conditions for each stage of growth. But the real challenge begins during mating season. At this point, breeders step in, paying close attention to every detail. They carefully adjust water temperature and quality, creating the perfect environment to encourage salamanders to breed. This precise control is crucial because the success of egg laying depends entirely on these conditions. When females finally start laying their eggs, they choose quiet, protected spots, usually hidden little crevices. That's when breeders step up again. They gently collect the eggs and transfer them into special tanks, where they're carefully incubated. These eggs receive constant care until the tiny larvae hatch, but the job doesn't end there. After hatching, the larvae still require intense supervision for weeks, with continuous monitoring to ensure they grow strong and healthy. Only after this initial stage are the young salamanders moved to larger tanks, where they start a new phase of their growth. And it's precisely this careful attention, step by step, that gives them such high survival rates. Have you ever stopped to think about what salamanders eat? Unlike traditional farm animals, their diet is totally different, and this directly impacts the way they're raised. Salamanders are carnivores, so they need high-protein foods to grow healthy. On specialized farms, they're fed small fish, live earthworms, and specially designed feed that meets their exact nutritional needs. In the wild, it takes years for these animals to reach their full size, but on farms, with a balanced diet and perfect conditions, they grow much faster, becoming market-ready in just a few years. But feeding salamanders requires extreme care. If they overeat, leftover food can contaminate the water, causing serious health issues. That's why farmers closely monitor every meal. Any leftover food is quickly removed from the tanks to prevent bacteria from multiplying and harming the animals. The secret behind the success of this kind of farming is the environment they create. Instead of simple spaces, farms build complex networks of tanks connected by carefully planned tunnels. All this recreates the salamander's natural habitat, ensuring they grow up healthy and safe. Did you know that on some farms in China there's a salamander species that can grow as big as a tall adult? Meet the giant salamander, an amphibian that can reach an incredible 6 feet in length and weigh over 65 pounds. But how do they manage to get to this impressive size? The secret lies in the special care they get. Farmers create ideal conditions like carefully controlling water quality and providing highly nutritious food, helping these creatures grow to their maximum potential. So why do farmers invest so much in these giant salamanders? The answer is their high market value once they reach the ideal size. After they're fully grown, they're carefully collected and sold. Fancy restaurants pay high prices for this exotic delicacy, and traditional Chinese medicine markets value them greatly as well. These salamanders are also prized in traditional Chinese medicine, making them even more valuable. Additionally, there's another surprising benefit. Farming them helps with conservation, reducing pressure on wild populations, which remain threatened. Did you realize these unusual creatures played such a significant role in cooking, medicine, and even conservation? Next time you hear about salamanders, remember there's a giant version out there, one that's probably taller than a lot of people you know. In China, there's a delicacy so rare and valuable that for centuries it's been reserved for just a privileged few. I'm talking about the meat of the Chinese giant salamander, an exotic animal whose meat is highly sought after for both its culinary and medicinal value. This tradition started hundreds of years ago, when the Chinese began believing that eating salamander meat could boost health, strengthen the immune system, and even extend life. Since then, this practice has stood the test of time and remains popular today, especially among China's elite. At exclusive banquets, serving dishes made with giant salamander is more than just a meal. It's a clear display of power and social status. After all, the high price and rarity of this animal mean that its meat is accessible only to a select few. But how exactly is this special delicacy prepared? Usually, salamander meat is served in soups or stews, slowly cooked until it's tender and flavorful. In some regions, skilled cooks add special herbs and aromatic spices that not only enhance the taste but are also said to boost the supposed health benefits promised by tradition. But this practice goes beyond just cooking. It also reflects aspects of Chinese culture and customs, where special foods are eaten for their believed healing properties. But does all of this actually work? If you enjoyed this interesting story and want to learn even more about the fascinating world of exotic animals and their unique characteristics, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.